Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another live. Welcome back to another video. How you feeling today? Much to discuss. Some interesting updates through the evening. And as always, I've seen that the United community are taking things well. Very unreactive over the situation. Definitely not making definitive statements about everything that they hear and recency biasing reports into everything going to crap or being extremely impatient. Definitely not. Definitely not. What's up, everybody? Sorry, Stuart. I haven't been meaning to. Sometimes I'm just trying to keep up with the but all the DMs and things that come in, and I lose track. So I probably just haven't seen it yet at this point in time, but I will get back to you as well. But yes, good to see you all here. Good to see you all here. Everything is burning down. Everything is crap. Please, no positives. Everything's terrible. I know. Everything is absolutely awful. At this point in time. So lots to discuss, though. Lots to discuss overall today in terms of the updates that have come overnight. And look, we will also, by the way, at the back end of this, be watching France versus Senegal. I'm going to be here for the next 2.5 hours. So if I don't get all your questions answered now, if you're not satisfied with the first 30, 40 minutes of today's live, I will be here for another 2 hours after that for you to ponder me with questions and things and all of that kind of stuff. But, starting with this funny thing around Spurs, I remember being at the mall, just because that's where I was at the time. I remember being at the mall last year, walking around when Spurs agreed a deal for Morgan Gibbs-White and being spammed with stuff. Spurs are serious. Spurs are serious. Spurs are getting all the business done. What are United doing? This is really bad. We're going to get killed by Spurs. They won the Europa. They were ahead of us. They were facing relegation on the final day. Relax. It's Spurs. They're doing what they always do. I do think they've signed a few good players, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's Spurs. And I'm not particularly worried about anything they do because I don't think they have a serious plan from top to bottom. It happens every single June.
Is us looking at Summerville and Fernandes double deal?
No, it's not. That's not the delay. Summerville is just a name that we've asked about. I don't believe those deals are tied together, and I don't believe we will be necessarily going for both even. But we'll talk through Summerville here in a minute. There's been some reports around Tchouaméni. However, where it is being reported from tends to be a bit bait, honestly. There are better sources to wait for. Most of the indications from David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, and those at The Athletic have indicated that at this point in time, Tchouaméni is being counted on and is being kept. And so until we hear from some of the better sources, we need to consider still that Tchouaméni is still off the table for right now. Because, look, I saw a source saying Tchouaméni because future is in doubt. And then there was another one, an hour later saying that Jose Mourinho doesn't like Valverde or something like that. I mean, there's a few people we got to wait for in terms of logical and meaningful reports when it comes to Madrid, Tchouaméni, all of that kind of stuff. And so far, all of the best sources have indicated that the direction of travel has been moving further and further towards Tchouaméni staying. So at this point, that continues to be the case. But this is what I want to talk about. So we've been talking about this in recent days, right? Our board, it's thin. It's getting very shallow. Now, this is bad for multiple reasons, right? These are all the targets we need still. We need 1 to 2 more mids. One more, we need a left back or a left winger probably. We need a striker and maybe even a center back. And if you look at all of the names that are available, it's thinning, right? Let me move my head. We moved all these off the board as very likely not happening. right now. We've seen fully that we're out of the race for Tonali, all of that. So it's been shrinking. And it's like they're listening to us, which maybe they are. The problem is when your board shrinks, you end up with no good options. You end up with no leverage. You end up in a situation where you're desperate. You end up in a situation where you don't have anything to work with, where if one thing goes wrong, then suddenly you're in trouble at this point in time, okay? So what United have done overnight, and I don't find anything coincidental, all right? I don't believe in coincidence. I strongly believe that a lot of things are intentional. That suddenly as our board thins in a week where, we move away from Anderson and Tonali and Tchouaméni.
Bro, I see I'm nervous now. Where is Hall x Fernandes x Scott?
Those are main targets. They're the main targets. Don't worry yet. Don't worry yet.
So gnarly interest is not good for us, and getting Hall, is that why you think we're being linked with left wingers now?
Yeah, I think they are connected, but because look, I just want to say this. Newcastle are wanting and preferring to sell Tonali, and they're playing it up big time and hoping they're going to get a big cash in on Tonali. There's no doubt about it. That's what they're doing. At the same time, his agent is also working hard to try and get himself out of Newcastle as well. And yeah, that has a potential knock-on effect. And as I said the other day, the problem with the Hall deal right now and why we're kind of waiting on it is that we know that in terms of Newcastle right now, that in any attempt to discuss Lewis Hall, they're saying we've got a bunch of clubs in for Tonali. We don't need to sell Hall. We've got a bunch of clubs in for Tonali. We don't need to sell Hall. Okay. And so it's not like, just force it through. No, they would prefer to sell Tonali no matter what they really say. Okay. So what United have done essentially overall overnight, and I don't think, again, accidental, is go, hey, Rodgers too expensive. Diomande going to Liverpool. Well, shoot, we don't have options like anywhere right now. And I believe it is intentional to let a few names slip out into the United space via good sources like David Ornstein. Doesn't mean I want to make something very, very clear. This doesn't mean I'm saying that, they're being used, or these sources and such ain't true, or that these targets aren't true. There are targets that are not mentioned, but there are times when it is helpful for United to mention targets. When there are times when it helps their case with other ones to have it be known that they do have other targets, and things like that, because it just helps in the overall kind of negotiations of things.
I'd rather keep Rashford and spend wing or pound ocean elsewhere, like CB or a backup striker.
I think the issue is it doesn't solve much for us on that, and it's extremely expensive, right, to keep Marcus Rashford. But we will talk about that as well. So what happens is we go, all right, overnight, what do we get? We get Sanderberg comes in on our list for midfield alternative options. Sanderberger shows up on our list for options. He's there, okay? He's an option. He's somebody that I don't, these sources, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think that these sources are very good. I'll ask somebody, but I just don't think that these are good sources at this point in time that I would rely on. So we add Sanderberg onto our list, all right? Because Sanderberg was on our list before. He has been considered, and it's somebody that we think about. Now, does that mean we're going for Sanderberg? No. It means that should we need three midfielders and should we miss out on a lot of our major targets, that is a player we could end up going for, that we could end up considering at the right price. Do I think that we will get Sanderberg at the end of this window? Personally, no. I think that age-wise, how much he was purchased for before and that we're going to need to pay more now, I don't see that one being a realistic deal. So no, I don't think we'll sign Sanderberg, but it's out there in the world that we do have Sanderberg as a potential target. Then you move on to left wing and you add Summerville, right? Now look, we know Njai, Diomande, Rogers, we know that there have been targets, but they're priced at excessive levels, 80, 90, 100 million down the road. And you're talking about, players who, when we have Matthias Cunha, we don't really need that in those kinds of positions. Okay? So, true, Jeffrey. So we don't really need that in those kinds of positions, right now. So instead, because here's the thing, right? If we go for a left back, we need a left back who is starter quality. If we go for a left back, we need somebody to take over from and bench Luke Shaw.
You need to be savvy and look at players like Sangare.
But we're not. But we're not looking at Sangare or Kamara or these guys. We just aren't at this point in time. We're just not. So at left back, we need a starter. Our primary options were Nathaniel Brown and Lewis Hall. Patrick Dorgu, as we've discussed previously, there's a mixed opinion within the club about where he fits. And the likely strategy on the left-hand side has been, what is the best option we can get in terms of price to value that helps us? If it's a left winger, we don't want to spend a fortune. We want to get somebody who's good, that can be in that position, that pushes Dorgu to fullback. And then we will be back in the market for a fullback again next summer to replace Luke Shaw. But then we will have Shaw and Dorgu, Cunha, and a signing. If we're going for a left back, we want someone who can take over from Shaw, and we will still be in the market for something next year, be it a backup left back or a backup winger, depending on Dorgu. But right now we need one. Summerville, I see, represents a potential player, that he's a decent player. I don't particularly necessarily believe he is rated or anything near what Lewis Hall would be. Lewis Hall is definitely who they would prefer. But if we do not get Lewis Hall, then there's a world where we go for a more affordable winger, look to get something done in the 35-40 million range to back up Cunha. And then we have Cunha, Summerville, Dorgu, all of that as options that can mix and match on that kind of left side. So that would be why. We're looking at that, why we're targeting it. And, it behooves us to have options. It behooves us to have choices on these things. I think that the price is very steep for Summerville. I think it's ultimately extremely expensive overall, £50 million for a player who has 7 goals and assists. That's fewer than Dorgu. I don't really like the idea of the signing in that respect. I like him as a depth player, but I firmly believe that price is way over the top. And I also believe that a left back is of significantly more importance than a left winger. But clearly, they're just keeping their options open. The thing people have to bear in mind is that it's not it's not like it's Summerville is a good player. But look, every time something is reported, it doesn't mean that is the next thing that is happening. Otherwise, we would have signed 6 players already, because we've had plenty that have been mentioned as serious targets. So it's already viewed as a lower priority. It's already something that we're not necessarily certain of signing. It's just another option. Okay. At this point in time, it's just another option, and it's a real option, but it's just another option. And people got to stop overreacting. It's June 16th, if I'm not mistaken. It's June 16th. Okay? It's June 16th. Right now, we're in the early stages of the summer. And there's always going to be alternative plans and options. Yeah, some names have come off the board. You know, when you look at like big targets, Anderson, Tonali, Tchouaméni, obviously we would have loved to get some of these guys if they were available or if they were at the prices that were acceptable or anything like that, but they're not. So we have other targets. We have other players. We have other things happening. And we've already discussed the Spurs thing. If you think that signing Andy Robertson would have been a good move for us for our left back, cool. Okay? They did the same thing last year. People panicked, and then they finished 17th. Relax, okay? This happens every single year that come mid-June, United fans melt down in these huge ways, okay? They just blow up, and every rumor is the end of the world, and it's a disaster, and it means X player's not coming, and X player's not coming, and this isn't happening, and that isn't happening, and all of that. It isn't the case. It's fine. We've already signed one player. We're very likely going to sign Mateus Fernandes. I still believe we will be getting Scott and Hall before the end of this window, but we have to have options. We have to have backups. We have to have alternatives. And there are certainly going to be more that we haven't mentioned yet. There are certainly going to be more that we haven't actually seen, that haven't been reported, much like Sanderberg and Summerville wouldn't have been. This is the first time they ever thought of those players. They came out today because it suited United to put them out. That's the truth. Okay? And I'm not saying that it's briefed and it's fake and that journalists are being used and all of that, but they are out because of that. That's why they're out there, because it suited United for those names to come out there right now. There are more names that are not out there that it may suit them at a future point to put out there or to discuss further. Okay? So there's no need at this stage to freak out about anything. United are moving through their paces quite well. At the end of the day, you know, it comes down to, in large respect as well, you know, who wants to join United and how specifically they want to join United. When you look at Arsenal, okay, there's talk about them talking to Alex Scott. That's fine. They're also strongly pushing for a deal for Buwadi, and that's probably who they're going to go for. With Spurs going for Tonali, with other things happening.
Is it possible that Newcastle sell Hall even if Tonali goes? He can't be happy being benched for Dan Burn.
Sure, it is possible. Like I said, this is one of those definitive statements of like, it doesn't mean it's over. But this is what I'm saying, right? Like, look at this. Let's see this comment here. Scott is going to Arsenal. Why? Because this is what happens every single summer, okay? One report from a play. I talk about this every single time. You see one report that says Arsenal are looking at X, and instantly people believe Arsenal are signing them. We'll see 633 reports about United looking at someone, and people go, we're not going to sign them. It's not going to happen. It won't get done. We won't do it. Quit it. Relax, man. Grow up a little bit. Have some perspective. Every time a player is linked to another club, they haven't already signed him. Much like every time we're linked to a club, we haven't already signed them. You know? It is what it is at this point in time. Nothing's done on any of these deals. Nothing's done. Nothing's done. Let it be and relax. Okay? At the same time, it's like we've discussed this before. You want to go pay 90 million pounds for Tonali? Cool. All right? United clearly don't value him at that level. United clearly don't see him at that level. If Spurs want to rush into those deals, they can do that. They're welcome to. Their team is full of road runners, and all they're going to keep doing is adding road runners to the midfield for even more money. They're just buying more expensive road runners, you know? At the end of the day, that's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. You know, it is what it is, man. We're very, very early on in the window. There are a lot of players in football, and time will tell. You know, that's what I'm saying, Luciano. Like, I actually really rate Tonali, but he's just another runner who crashes the box, and that's how why they're gonna sign him. That's all they keep signing. They never really fix their team. But you know, it's all good. We're working on our deals. We're working things through. We are fine, okay? We are fine. So I wouldn't worry about it. We are okay. All right. But look, it's all about having different ideas and perspectives. For me, I think that Summerville makes for a very good backup left winger if we go down that route. I think he makes for a good player in that position that would help the squad quite a lot. And that's where I see Summerville. I think he makes sense in that respect. It would be disappointing. Hang on, camera. Come on, sort me out. It would be disappointing if we don't get a left back, but it's not because Summerville would be a bad signing. He's a good player. Missing out on a left back to me would be more the concerning aspect of it, because I think we need a serious left back there. But Summerville in a vacuum shouldn't be in a vacuum. He should be out on the pitch. But I think he makes for a decent signing, quite a decent winger who provides something different. He's fairly electric in that respect. He has a lot of ability, obviously. And yeah, I think 50 million would be an overpay. If you get that down a bit though, then I think you'd be, you know, in a better range. I added him to the tracker and have stats on him, and it's kind of interesting looking at his stats. And you know, when you look at Summerville here, this is him. So this is what I'm talking about, where his output is very low. Now, the issue is, of course, that he's at West Ham. You know, that's certainly a factor in why his output of 5 goals and 2 assists is so low. If you look at his game, like the manageable aspects, really good. One of the best passers, dribblers. He defends from the front. He presses. He wins duels. He does all of this. It makes sense why United would like him. He's a wide player. He carries the ball really well, passes well, does a lot of things very well, just in a bad team.
Omar out, Wilcox out, Vivell out, Carrick out, and the Mercedes-Benz guy out, and all of us out. Smiley face emoji. Smiley
Everyone
face emoji.
Let's start over and let Joel run transfers off Football Manager again. That's where we're going. That's what we got to do. You know, so we look at that and we say, this is a player who has a lot of good attributes. How old is he? He's pretty young, isn't he? So yeah, I mean, West Ham have been poor. Their attacking opportunities are very low. But look, I mean, when you talk about output, you know, Mateus Fernandes has 3 goals, 4 assists, as one of the more creative players, and everybody loves him. You know, but he's below average in those creating areas.
Fernandes for £100 joint deal. I think that's the deal. Also, Newcastle fans don't really rate Tonali and low-key want him gone if they get the money, unlike how they feel about Hall.
I would agree with that to a degree. I think 100 would be great for Mateus and Summerville if you could get both for that amount of money, but I'm not sure that you can. 24 years old is pretty good. But I do agree with regards to Newcastle. I think their fans would rather see Tonali leave than Hall. The big advantage we have here on Lewis Hall is that it isn't he wants out and everything's crap at Newcastle, but there are concerns with him behind the scenes and all of that kind of stuff. It's certainly the case that is true. So, look, we got to settle. All that's new is this. United have a 2-pronged strategy here. If they can get their top left back in Lewis Hall, they will, okay? And that is still, as I understand it, plan A, strategy A, what we would like to happen and what we'd like to get done. That's what Carrick would like. That's what the team would mostly agree to do and be willing to utilize Dorgu in more of an attacking position. That is plan A. That hasn't changed. As an alternative plan, we've got to have, because there's not a lot of fullbacks out there worth buying, as an alternative plan, we have to have other options. And one of those alternative options is Summerville. And it is Summerville coming in as a left winger so that we can have, so that we have our options on that left side. So it's the plan A is there, but United have to plan for different contingencies. There's so many moves this summer and so many things that are connected. And when you talk about the World Cup and we talk about all of that, is it impossible if Tonali leaves for Hall to leave? No. Anything is possible in this. We saw that with we saw this with Isak, with the briefs constantly that he wasn't going to be sold. In the end, he was still sold. Shit happens. Player wants out, bids come in, things happen. There's always that possibility.
Could you still
so I'm not
see
worried
both
about that.
Fernandes and Scott?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And it's the same for the midfield. The plan is still Matheus Fernandes and Scott. We have still continued to hold, discussions over these. If you look right here, again in the report, we've inquired about Summerville. Matheus Fernandes is expected to be formalized with an opening bid, but the Old Trafford hierarchy are not prepared to meet West Ham's demands of £80 million. United have also explored the parameters for a deal for in-demand Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott, who could be available for $60 million this summer. They insist he's not for sale, etc., etc. Won his contract, all of that. Then they mentioned, Berg. It says United's interest in a left back, Lewis Hall, remains. Although Newcastle United are not looking to sell, they may still seek to strengthen the left-hand side of their attack rather than left back, with Patrick Dorgu able to cover either position.
Obviously, you don't believe Alvarez on Tchouaméni.
No, I don't believe Alvarez on Tchouaméni. Not just him. There's better reporters. Another center forward could also be sought to provide competition for Benjamin Šeško. So yeah, that's we still have a strong, we still have a strong interest in that situation. Okay. In Alex Scott, we've certainly made discussions over him. We've continued to work on that, and it's pretty much in a similar boat to Matheus Fernandes, where, at any point in time, if we felt that the Matheus Fernandes situation wasn't going our way, we could make a move for Alex Scott. And there's certainly been talk of it in the last few days as well. Stuart with 10 more gifted memberships to the community, always coming in big for the United Muppeteers community. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate you so much, buddy. Thank you. And there's 10 more people who get that. Are we waiting for Scott to reject the Bournemouth contact first before opening contact? I think it kind of goes hand in hand. I think Scott is keeping his options open. I think for us, Matheus Fernandes is a slightly more advanced target and a slightly more in-demand target for us that we'd like to get done and see where we stand. Because I think we'd be happy with Ederson and Matheus Fernandes overall. We'd be happy with them. That's what I would say. We'd be happier with Matheus Fernandes coming in, and that's what we want to come in with first, and that's what we want to do first and get done. Don't know what that's. This one doesn't. Oh, it'll read out at the end. So, look, and then the question becomes, after Matheus, do we move on quickly to Hall, or do we go to Alex Scott and try to get that third midfielder in? I don't know. But as I understand it at this point in time, United have laid out the potential terms United have
would be Luis Campos, PSG's doff.
I mean, for all the praise for Luis Campos, they have spent more than anyone else in Europe for a long, long time. And so you just have to be able to spend an enormous amount of money as well for Campos to work out too. Not that he isn't a good director of football, but they have spent an absolutely absurd amount of money over over the last bit of time. Let me get my stream for France going here because I want to. I'll turn that on and we're gonna watch that as well at the same time. But there's still more to talk through. When is the France game? Yeah, it's about to start. There's still more to talk through before we switch off here, okay, and switch over entirely, and we'll continue talking through it while the game goes on. But Mateus Fernandes is that priority target. So again, all that even has occurred, all that's happened right now is we've added on and wanted it known that we're going for, that we like Summerville and we like Berg as an option as well. And our list has been getting rather thin. Now, as I understand it today, United have gotten to the point of the deal with both Mateus as well as Alex Scott, which is why there are numbers continuing to kind of be mentioned, to where essentially numbers have been kind of passed via to agents and things like that. And I'm not talking about official bids or anything, but numbers have moved through to the agents in terms of what we are willing to pay, what would be willing to go for, and to explore whether that is possible for a deal to happen. And essentially, as I can gather it, based on the kind of feedback we're expecting to receive via representatives, via agents, and where it's at, then from there, we'll make our opening bid. And essentially, I believe that we've kind of got those answers as to this is around what the clubs would be saying and in response to that. And honestly, I could see a bid for either player, Scott or Fernandes, or both right now. I still expect it to be Mateus Fernandes, but that literally should be coming. And timing, I don't know. I don't know how to address timing and things like that. With Mateus Fernandes, we're continuing to do most of the work via Georgia Mendes because the West Ham situation has been a bit complex. But we are strongly expecting to make a first bid here kind of soon. I think it's going to be at the,
PBL more. They deserve it, Gully.
They do. I believe it'll be closer to the range of, let me add this up on here. I think it's going to be closer to that range of, 60 million or so for Mateus Fernandes in there for that opening kind of bid. But we're pretty much at that stage where we've even floated, as I understand it, that we've even floated some sort of soft, offers of what could be expected to make sure that there is really a deal here that we could get done. So we're there. I never, when it comes to timing on bids and things, I swear it's always like a week later than you think. But, we'll see where we end up here soon. These bids should be honestly, neither would surprise me, nor would both surprise me. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I promise you it's coming. And we are getting things done here. All right. There's more I want to talk through here, but let me just get situated for the game. Because I have a scoreboard and stuff. Kickoff. Start. All right, hold on, guys. Sorry. Let me just get my stuff sorted here. All right. You tried pushing Buwadi, now you're gonna push Sangare. Good luck. I don't think either of those is honestly gonna happen at this point, but I appreciate the sentiment. All right, I've got a scoreboard live up now for the France versus Senegal game. I'm not particularly too worried about some spoilers. There's a stream delay between you guys and me as well. But I've got that there, and we'll be watching that game. And as things calm down, we'll comment more on the game. France team look really good. So it's coming. We're going to hear something It's very, very soon, I promise. And I'm sorry that it hasn't yet, but that bid is coming for Mateus. I don't believe, again, I believe that our number that we're looking to get to is in the 60s and nothing over 70 million, but in the 60s. Oof, good cross from Senegal there. So I would expect the first number to be closer to 55 plus add-ons, maybe 60 plus 5, something like that. I think our feeling is that alternatively, we could also make a bid for, 50 plus 5 or something for Alex Scott. So which makes more sense? Right now, they're still pushing forward on Mateus Fernandes, but we don't want to miss out and be in a situation where we can't get these deals done. And we get one done, and then the other ones, everybody else is gone. So, while they're patient and while it is early, I do also believe time is of the essence. Now, in addition to that, I want to talk briefly about Rashford and Onana coming back. Both right now are, of course, set to return to United, to training, to be involved in preseason in whatever capacity.
Does it sound like you are moving on price?
No, I have not heard anything to suggest West Ham are changing in terms of their demands. I think we just have to put our bid in and see how they respond, especially with everybody else scared off. I think they're just waiting for us to be serious now, at this point, essentially. I think they're waiting for us to, to see. And I think we're going to, based on that, then they will, respond essentially from there. In terms of Rashford and Onana, both are obviously set to return to the squad at this point in time. Just in the real world, they are. What I can say about both of them is, as far as it goes from the board, they don't want either to continue. Okay, so yes, it'll be painted as it'll be discussed, and the final decision is this, and maybe it could be reintegrated. They don't want to do any of that. It's just the reality of it. They don't want to do any of that. Now, they both have contracts, so if you can't find a solution to move them on, then you have little choice in some respects. But so, I cannot predict the future here. All I can say is that they definitely do not want them to stay in the squad. Oh, Rabiot sending Mbappe through, or poor touch from him. Might be offsides as well, but poor touch from him. So that's all I can say about this, is that they don't want either to come back, and they're going to be working on moving those players on throughout the summer. That's the truth. I don't expect them to come back.
Both to come. But from the sound of it, it's either or.
I don't think it is either or at all. It's just completely unknown at this point in time as to how it's going to play out, because that's where, until we see the next bid or what comes in from the next, in our next move and actually make that, we don't know what kind of response we're going to get back from the clubs that we're attempting to buy from. So it's not either or. It's not that. I still have hope for both of them, but it hasn't, it's tight. It's tight, and we're going to have to work hard to get these ones over the line. Goodbye. And so that's all. So yeah, they don't want either of those players to come back, and they obviously want to clear that off, to raise funds and do everything. And we might wait a little bit on our third midfielder or on something else.
Jr. calling it now, LOL.
Yeah, I don't think that Rashford swap deal with Vinny Jr. is realistic. United, obviously, it's interesting, the reports that we've set essentially like a £40 million thing in there that he can leave for to anybody outside of a couple of clubs, which makes sense. I feel there's clubs that are going to take a punt on it. Again, I believe Aston Villa represent an option, and I know it's been reported he'd rather see things out than move to another club in England, but rather is not definitive, and you may not have a choice in the matter. United may say, look, you're not going to play here. We're not including you if you don't take that move to, if you don't take that move to Aston Villa, if they come in without money, you have to take it, or we're just not going to play. There's a lot of leverage and things like that. So That's where we are. Um, so yeah, from my side of it, I can only just say that in conversations I've had in terms of new today, I don't know when things are going to be reported. It's impossible to guess. But all I would say is that United are definitely on the cusp there. With both Mateus and Alex Scott, where I could see now an offer coming in for either one of them. Where numbers have been discussed with the representatives and brought to the clubs to get an idea of what kind of response they'd be getting. So I'm just expecting a bid. And all I'm saying is that I would be, just based on the recent conversations, I wouldn't be surprised if it was either one. Ooh, good run by Senegal. Senegaler in. Block. Good defending. Wow, great defending from France there. So, yeah, from here, we just need to see this bid. Either or both. Honestly, like, the reason I don't know is that I don't know. You know, like, because we've held conversations, and I do think it's more advanced with Mateus, but at the same time, it's like we could very easily make an offer through Alex Scott's agent very quickly as well. The reason I don't know is that we have done a lot of work on both deals, and they are, as I understand it, serious targets. So they're up to a point where, you know, we could just make a bid for either or both at any time, and it wouldn't be crazy, you know? It's sort of the next step with either. So it's not, so I just don't know, because it's not like I'm hearing, oh, it's going to be this or that. I expect it'll be Mateus because it's reported more. We've had a bit more, conversations there, but not every club goes in, and not every deal is one where you go and you start talks and then you make a bid. Sometimes you just make a bid to open the conversation up, with the clubs directly. Sometimes that's your opening conversation, is just to have that. You've done enough work through the agent where you feel like you can just make that offer and see what happens. So I don't know, but I'd be shocked at this point in time, honestly, if we're not seeing a bid in the next couple of days here. I would be shocked, because there's nothing else really to do except get that done now. And yeah, I'm not impatient. And I don't think that United are in trouble or anything like that, but the market is moving. It's moving enough that they felt, in my opinion, the need to have more names out there because the board is thin. And that tells me that, we have to get a move on some of our priority targets there and actually get something done before they come off of the table. So that's where we're at. Offer, hopefully soon. Very, very soon. Again, it was slowed down by the West Ham situation. Now, they've also just apparently appointed their new director of football, or their new director of football is joining. Maybe that helps. Who's appointing him and who's signing off on it? I have questions about how that all works. But, yeah. The Tonali one is the only one that's, I think, is worrying people, right? Because I think people are concerned that if Tonali goes to Spurs and that gets done quickly, then suddenly we can't get Lewis Hall. And we can't get Lewis Hall, and Tonali's off the table, and our list is slim and all of that. I understand that, and if Arsenal decided to suddenly sign Alex Scott, well, now we're down to like one real target in Mateus Fernandes in the midfield. And that would be a little bit concerning, and that could definitely throw a wrench in our plans. There's no doubt about that, but we're not there yet. If this time, end of the week, Saturday, we haven't made bids, we haven't made offers, Tonali's about done to Spurs, and they're paying up the £90 million or something like that, and, things are looking ugly, we'll have a different conversation, and I'll start to worry. But as of yet, I'm not bothered at this point in time by our business. We've got there. Like, to me, it's kind of like in two bids, we could suddenly have two midfielders in and be going, all right, now we're going to push for Lewis Hall, and that would be it, and that would be that, and I'd be satisfied. You know what I mean? It's not like we're far off from things happening. You know, it's we're close enough, and we've done enough of the work to get some more deals done. But I do think time's of the essence. I also think that United understand that too, you know. I think they do understand that if Spurs suddenly make this big push for Tonali, it can screw some other things up. But I think that's why the Summerville link came out as well. I do. Maybe we won't get Hall and we're switching to... That's what I'm saying, is that is a backup plan. Yeah, I agree. It's good to see us not go, oh my God, Tonali is somebody else has interest. Let's go pay up 90 million, you know, and overpay by 30 million on our valuation. It's good. And that's one part of our long-term transfer strategy too, right? Because there's two things that have to happen here. Number one is that, you know, we're not the finished article. We're not the finished piece here. Like, we have more windows to get our team to competing regularly at Champions League, Premier League level. We've started to fix our reputation in the market by being smart. We've started to do that. We do still have work to do in terms of our long-term goals in order to get there. And I think that part of what's going on, and as I see people thinking, you know, we've got to, this is where, you know, we have to not get too ahead of ourselves in terms of this thing about like going for a title now, right? Where people are going, like, a lot of what we're doing right now, our strategy in the market, our strategy in transfers, the way we're moving forward is the moves of a team that is like continuing to consolidate gains and grow as a team. I saw Nathan Salt talking about this on the Paddock because I watched his interview, and it's a good interview overall, the whole discussion. One thing I disagree with him on is he's saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, but you know, he's going, you know, we want to see United make that big move, you know, grab it, go for it now, whereas it seems like they're still sort of playing it calm and safer and going one more year of sort of like just building blocks and things. Totally true. That is exactly what they're doing. United are going one more year of building blocks into the team, because the reality is, we can blow it, you know? We can be a bit premature in our activity here and think, oh, we just go for a title right now. Go for a title today. And this season coming up, that's it. We're going for the title, in which case you act differently. You would be willing to overpay. You wouldn't worry about your market. You wouldn't worry about where you stand. You wouldn't worry about the financials. You just blow your load immediately. Buy the best players, spend as much money as possible to get them in. And United are going, and I know this for a fact, that's not how they see it. They want to be in a situation where they're competing regularly, and they think that the route to doing that is one more year of building blocks. They don't think we're as close as people are making out. And obviously the feeling of how the league is wide open contributes to that, you know, that there's no big competition. But you have to still bear in mind, even though that's true, Arsenal had 7 years of Arteta and squad building and consistency in the direction that they were traveling before they got it over the line. You know, you can have inconsistencies. It's not one season, you know. Liverpool, it took them years. You know, we're still years behind where we were before. We're still years behind where we need to be in order to do it consistently. And they want to be smart about it and say, let's build up another step consistently, right? Let's build up another step in the right direction, where we have good young players, where we have a team that's consistent. If you think about it, if we get it right this summer, next summer our team changes very little. We just add a couple big pieces. That's when we go big and take that leap to the next level. So that's how they see it. So in that respect, it's important to continue to be tough negotiators. It's important to continue to not get sucked into overpaying for deals too much. It's important to do all of these things, okay? And I think they're going about it right because they're aiming for a consistent growth pattern where we are at the top and we stay at the top, not we go for broke. If it doesn't work, we're back in trouble again. You know, whatever we do this summer, next summer, we will be able to do business again. We will be able to do transfers again. We will be able to buy players again. That's what's important. That's where we need to be. That it's not going to hamstring us in the future if not everything works out as beautifully as it has. I mean, we have virtually 100% hit rate recently on transfers. That's going to break at some point. We're going to get another bad signing. One player's not going to work out. We can't be in a situation where that destroys us and suddenly we can't buy any players moving forward. That's what they're being smart about not doing, not making that mistake. You asked, would I prefer Mateus or Scott? I think it's a lot closer than is sort of made out in a lot of corners online. I think that for the team that we're wanting to become, for a, you know, to play big club football and all of that, I actually think Alex Scott is potentially a safer option. I think Mateus Fernandes maybe has a bit more of something in his game, but I also think he's going to have to adapt and learn a bit more than Alex Scott will. So it's a question of, I don't know who becomes better at the end of the day, but I actually think Scott might be better initially, at least, than Mateus Fernandes. Doesn't mean I think Mateus Fernandes won't be very good. I think he will be very good. I just think there's a learning curve in there. Now that we're here and there's 500 something of you guys left hanging out with me over here, there's something else I want to mention, all right, that people may not want to necessarily hear. And it's Ederson. You know, it's shot from France. Oh, blocked. You know, we've heard there's been a lot of chatter about how, you know, Ederson has always been sort of like passed by as if he's some extra signing that is not really helpful and not needed. And, you know, and he's like unimportant, so that, you know, if we only ended up with one more good midfield signing, people like in a panic about it. That's not how the club see it. And we're going to have to, you know, bet on the club's knowledge here. Yeah, Ederson's a 35 million pound purchase. Because he's in the last year of his contract, he's not viewed as a 30 million pound player. Poor cross from Sar there. He's not viewed as a 35 million pound player. He was our top target going into last summer. He was our top midfield target. We were prepared to pay north of 50 million pounds for him. But at that point in time, Atalanta decided they didn't want to sell and were asking for somewhere in the range of 65 or 70 million. He is viewed as a very good player by the club and a player that is certainly capable of starting in this team in the Premier League and in the Champions League. He's not bought as a guy who, well, he'll fill in some good depth and that's that. He is viewed as a very, very good signing. Now, the idea is we want to sign. I've always said the idea of this extra signing versus marquee signing is kind of bullshit. It doesn't really matter. It's just, yeah, there are players who are going to be more expensive and there are players who are not as expensive. And there's players who maybe have a higher potential and all that. Ederson doesn't necessarily have a super high ceiling. He's already 27 years old. But at 27 years old, he is viewed as a competent starter for a team in the Premier League and Champions League. He's viewed as good as many of the players starting for, you know, Liverpool or Arsenal or City, even at this point in time. He's not viewed as some way level below them. He's viewed as a player who will contribute as a starter to a successful team. That's where he is. You know, is he the standout star of the midfield? No, but you have Bruno and you have Mainu, and he's viewed as a very competent player in that respect. So I think that part of the negativity that surrounds and worry that surrounds some of our midfield is that because of the narrative that had gotten going about Ederson and the way that people see him, that's not how United see it. That's not how United see it. They wouldn't have signed him without feeling that he is a good player that can start. They want ideally 3 starters this year, but at minimum 2 starting level players, and they believe he is one. I get it. People are going to have totally... And again, I'm not trying to sell you on Ederson. I'm telling you this is where we're going to have to put our faith in that the club know what they're doing and that they've made that decision and that they think they've got a good player on their hands that is, up to the level of that is required. So that's all I'm saying on that front. And so, I don't look at our midfield as, oh, we've only signed one player and he's crap and we don't have good players and, all of that. I look at it as, I don't look at it as, we've only signed him and it's bad and all of that. I'm looking at it from the club's perspective, that they have a good player on their hands, that they feel is of the requisite quality, that they feel is, similar to the signings that they've made. I mean, I could tell you last summer how that leading into it, they valued him really, really highly and think he's a very, very good player. Like near Cunha and Mbumo level of player in their eyes as a midfielder. I'm just telling you the facts. That was the case how they saw him last year. And, so for them, I think he is viewed as a very serious player. So look, we'll have to take their word for it on that. Okay. I think getting him at a decent price is just hugely advantageous because it opens up the freedom for more things. But I think that people are making judgments as if the club see him as like, well, I don't know how people are thinking. It doesn't really matter to me. Point is, they really rate him. They think he's a good starting level player. And they want to have many starting level players to compete, including young players to develop and all of that. So, we'll see what how he gets on, but certainly they see it that way. So I don't think of it negatively. Don't think of it like that from the planning perspective. It's not them being cheap or unambitious or buying bad players. In their eyes, they've bought a very good player at a very good price. Oof, almost a huge mistake from Mendy there. So yeah, happy to answer any more questions as we go. But I thought that that's relevant to the situation because, and I get that it's not gonna make people feel better if they are, really down on Ederson. I understand that. I'm just saying that from the club's perspective, they feel they've already got one very good player. And if they get Mateus or Scott in very soon here, that they'll have 2 starting level players added to a midfield that already has Bruno and already has Menu. And in their eyes, that would mean world-class, potential world-class, and a solid starter in Ederson. And for them, they'd be pretty happy with that, So, yeah, we just have to hope they're correct in their assessment of it. That's all. But I think they've earned a little bit of leeway and a little bit of trust in that respect. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. Senegal on the attack here. Jackson. Oh, off the post. Oh my gosh, it almost bounced it in. Nice chance by Jackson there. You guys will see over this tournament, my Nicholas Jackson shouts are not that crazy. Not that crazy. I do have, by the way, while we're hanging out watching a game, I do have another one of these. So my wife went back to the store and there was only a couple left and she was like, let's just get more. I'll just get you more so you can open them. It was kind of exciting. I'm hoping I don't get the same player over and over. These are the options. I just for fun. I'm not sponsored or anything. Again, these are the options. Raul, I got already. Van Dijk, Haaland, Ronaldo, Son, Pulisic, Messi, De Bruyne, Vinny, Kane, Mbappe, Lamine Yamal. Who do we think I'm gonna get? Put in the chat. Who do you believe we'll get? Who do you think we'll get? I actually have 3 more of these, but I'm gonna try to stretch them out. Okay. Who do you think we'll get? Type it in the chat before I open it up here. I know it's hard to, it's the water break, so let's do this now. Let's do it now. It's the water break. It's the water break. No, there's only those 12 options. There's only those 12 options. Jimenez, who we already got. Van Dijk, Haaland, Ronaldo, Son, Pulisic, Messi, De Bruyne, Vinny, Kane, Mbappe, or Lamine Yamal. Those are the options, guys. These are them. It can't be anybody and everybody. Hold on. If you didn't see it yesterday, I got Raul Jimenez. It's pretty cool. They're actually pretty cool. Like I'm not much of a collector, but this was pretty cool. And again, not sponsored. I'm just enjoying. I'm so in on this World Cup right now. Like I'm so in. All right, I don't think that it's okay. It's not Raul. 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 It's not Jimenez. It's not. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be someone else we don't want. But we'll see. It's not Jimenez. I think because the color of the box. I think it's green is Jimenez. I think the color of the inside box. It's orange. So is that Van Dijk? It's Van Dijk. it's Virgil. So we take that. We get our trusty trash can. No, I'm just kidding. because they're pretty cool. So yeah, that's what we've got so far. Not our favorites yet. Not our favorites yet. Not our favorites yet. Nothing against Jimenez, but I want to see something actually. So they have these stickers on the bottom, and I think that the number ties to which player it is. You know how some of these blind boxes, you can actually cheat because there's a number on the back, like right here. How do I find it? Right there. There's like a little number, right? I think that the number is tied to who it is, okay? And my boxes all have different numbers. My boxes all have different numbers. So I think that they're all different. I think that I have different ones. I can't confirm it because I only have 2 as a pattern, but I have 2 more, and they all have different numbers on the sticker. But the numbers are close enough. Make sure of that's true. Yeah. Like the numbers are close enough. The numbers are close enough that they look like no, it's not a barcode. The barcode is here. The barcode is here. This is a sticker, and it's like a silver sticker with a number on it. And you can do that. Like there's tons of blind boxes that have these stickers on them that actually do give you the code. If you look at them, and it kind of spoils the fun of it if you do that. But I'm assuming that they are different. Like these ones are only 5 digits apart. So maybe. Anyway, this brand is called Fan Collects. Ooh, I don't know if they have them anywhere else, but anyway, they said that there's like augmented reality product with augmented Senegal. Sorry, missus. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. The digits. No. They're usually more random digits. More random. Not like when these are on boxes, they're not like 1 through 12. They usually have like kind of different digits. Yeah. How much are they? They're like $20. They're like $20. What, Aaron? What are you asking me? Sorry. They're like $20. Yeah. So that's what we have so far. Van Dijk and Raul. And if they're sold out from the Target now. That's why I bought more, because there were no more. And I was like, well, crap, we're gonna have to get them so that I can open them. But yeah, if anybody likes what's the pathway for JJ? I think he'll be getting some minutes next year, but some very minor minutes. Kind of like Greenwood's pathway. He got a few minutes in that one season, and then by the next season he was more like a regular bench player. Yeah. So there you go. They have United ones on site, do they? Fan. Oh yeah, Champions League clubs. Yeah. Oh yeah, you could just buy them straight up if you wanted. I don't know why it says there's like augmented reality. When am I opening the next one? I'm don't know. I'm tempted to open it now, but I have two more, and I was kind of trying to save it, and I was hoping to save one for my kid asked to open one. So maybe at the end of today's live, when he gets back, he could get one. Maybe I'll have him open one with us here. They're sold out. Yeah, they're all sold out. So these maybe these are valuable. Maybe I lucked in and I should be selling these. Maybe we put them on eBay later. It's a long summer. Yeah, I mean, if they don't have any more, then see if they restock them. I don't know anything about Kevin Strootman, to be honest, to say whether that would be a good idea or not. But yeah, I'll save him for my kid. Dimitri, yeah. Wonder if Pro Stars are worth anything now. I got no idea, man. I've never been like a collectibles person, so these were just cool. And if I didn't open them, if I wasn't opening them on stream, on live with you guys, I probably wouldn't care about them. But it's just kind of fun to do that. All right, let's lock in a little bit on France versus Senegal here. If we get all the transfers done by the weekend, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. You didn't even collect Pokemon cards? No, look, so actually that's a lie.
Due to our relationship with Bayern, I strangely feel Nicholas Jackson might be in the mix for backup striker, SP if they take Rashford.
Yeah, I also think Nicholas Jackson could be in the mix. We were interested. We actually were quite interested. Kevin Strootman's retired. Yeah, he is, isn't he? I didn't collect Pokemon cards. I just bought some so I could play with the original 150 or 151. I did, however, collect Magic the Gathering cards, and I collected a bunch of NFL cards, and I actually had some really cool ones back in the day. But those were the ones I collected for a long time. Were those? I actually still have a giant box of them in my basement that I completely forgot about. I have like thousands of the original Series 1 Magic the Gathering stuff, and then a bunch of NFL cards as well. So yeah, I used to play. When I was young. I mean, I was 5, 7, 8 years old. I played Magic the Gathering a lot as a kid and bought the cards. So I've got like the original ones, you know, like very, very original Series 1 ones all over the place down there. Been a long time, but I have these giant box. I probably should take them to some kind of I don't know what you would call it, some kind of sales place to see what they're valued at this point. No, I don't have a Black Lotus. I was aware of that because that was worth a lot of money back in my day too. That's been worth a lot of money since the beginning. I didn't have match attacks. No, I had we just had tops trading cards. There are 3 secret rare gold player versions. Yes, it says that on the box. I think one's Messi and some appraiser. Yeah, I probably should just give a box to the appraiser because I've got a ton of stuff, and then I have a bunch of NFL cards. And the nice part, obviously, with sports cards is you have all the ones with like signatures and like pieces of the football, pieces of the jersey, pieces of the stuff like that. Your son just said he hopes you weren't sad about the ones you got. Tell him I really hope he gets a good one next time. No, I'm not sad. Thank you, Tom, and thank you to your son as well. But no, I'm not sad. It's all for fun for me. I just think it's amusing because we probably got the only 2 that like are particularly unexciting, which for me makes me wonder if they're heavily weighted towards them. Am I seeing the Senegal midfield? I am. I need to focus a little bit more. Who's in their midfield? It's Gay, Papa Gay, Idrissa Gay, and who's the other one? In their midfield right now? I can't honestly remember. That's a nice move. Kamara, okay. France's midfield still kind of cracks me up. I mean, Rabiot's still trucking away in there. Chouameni anchoring it. What? What did I say? Chouameni, he looks good. The thing I like about Chouameni as a player when I watch him personally is I always feel like he's taking responsibility for the game. Like he wants to be on the ball. He wants to be defending. He looks fine. Nothing special from anything from France so far, but I like his mentality and the way he approaches the game personally. I think he's always like active. You know what I'm saying? That's my feeling on the matter. Marvin Gaye? Oh, other James. Oh, okay. Marvin. Oh, I see. Okay. Ooh, nice move by Olise. Koundé charging down in the box for us. Oh, what a terrible cross from Koundé. Terrible final third quality there from Koundé. All right. Wait, they stopped play for that. That's England haven't played, so no hype yet. Tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. What time is the game tomorrow? Argentina, Algeria tonight is going to be so good, though, too. So good. 2 p.m. All right, we'll be here for England, Croatia as well. We will be live for England, Croatia. Senegal do look good. They're definitely a dark horse team. 2 p.m. No, it's an hour later. It's an hour later tomorrow. Yeah, an hour later than the start today. Then this game is tomorrow's England game. We'll be here for that. So I'll probably start the stream at 8 p.m. UK time, and I'll stay for 3 hours. I'll watch the Iraq and Norway game as well, just not on stream. I'm gonna do one game a day on stream, but not every day even. But I'll trying to do one every day until the knockouts, and then we'll try to do every game if we can. What happened to the podcast with you? We did it last week or the week before. It's just over summer. It's just confusing. Timing is sometimes a bit tough. Kids home and all that. France have never found someone to offer what Pogba did in the midfield. I would agree. I mean, they didn't do too shabby last time, though, to be fair. $24-hour stream, yeah. 5 membership if Ruben buys Mount. I don't think he's going to buy Mount. He'd be more likely to buy Casemiro or sign him, I suppose. I'm trying to think if there would be anybody Ruben would take from us or would even want. Lissandro. Lissandro's someone he liked. They had like a beef, but actually kind of it was a good thing in the end with them. They kind of sorted out respect with each other, and then he really valued what Lissandro brought to the table. So Lissandro would be one I would actually think he likes. Oh, decent cross in. Dallo, and Dallo's already been on loan at AC Milan. Dallo, I don't think we'll sell him, but Mbappe almost.
I think Ahmad might be in play for Amorim, but I still want Kamara lol.
Ahmad is an interesting name because he definitely would take Ahmad. I don't think he will try to sign any of these players particularly, by the way, but these are players that I would think he would like. Ahmad, Dallo, Lissandro, obviously Mbumo, Cunha, these guys, but not he's not, obviously he would know we can't go for any of them. I mean, obviously Bruno, he might tell us, oh my God, imagine that Amorim has Milan activate his release clause. He's not going to leave. He's not going to do it. He's not going to join them, so it's pointless. But I was just thinking about that because he has the release clause, Imagine he got Milan to activate the release clause for Bruno. That'd be pretty hilarious, honestly. Maybe Luke Shaw. I'm just saying who Amorim really likes. I don't think any of them would leave United because United is such a good place to be right now. But those would be the ones I would think about: Luke Shaw, Dallo, Bruno, Ahmad, Lissandro, and yeah, that's probably it. Mazraoui. I bet you he would take Mazraoui. I bet you he would. He quite liked Mazraoui. You quite wish Ruben does well. Yeah, me too. I mean, look, there's only one ex-manager that I wish does poorly. I've rooted for Jose since he's left. I've had nothing against Van Gaal except when he was being kind of a dick about when he was on the Dutch national team. I've rooted for David Moyes since he's left. I've cheered him on at Everton. Ollie hasn't been working. I cheered on Carrick after he left as coach, McKenna. And I will root for Amorim to have a good career as well. Literally everybody but Ten Hag. Ten Hag's the only manager I wish failure on post United. Everybody else, I think, didn't work out. Is what it is. I think they had good intentions. Ten Hag, I hope nothing good ever happens to him. Yeah, I saw Ole link to Ipswich. It's time for him to get back in a job, like, he really wanted to get into the job here at United. He really wanted to get into the job here at United, but he's been out of work for such a long time. It's hard to be convincing in that respect. Carrick had, experience. He'd been managing, since leaving. Dembele. Oh, such poor passing from France here in the final third. All right, second half, we got to lock in on this game a little more because it's actually pretty good. There's a lack of quality in the final third. I know he was at Besiktas, but I'm saying like in England and such. It's okay here, this France versus Senegal game, but there's very much a lack of quality in the final third. Yeah, I'm very glad we didn't get Ole either. Carrick was always a much more evolved tactician. I just think that Carrick has shown much more tactical, knowledge, experience, strategy, being, at Middlesbrough and having a real job. Besiktas was a short run, and I don't know what you could have learned about Ole from that period. I didn't like Van Gaal either, like as terms of coach, but like I didn't dislike him as a person or think that he was trying to ruin the club. I thought he did some good things at the youth level for us, and I thought his intentions were good. I didn't like his football. I didn't want him to stay. I didn't want Ole to stay either. I wanted them gone. I wanted them sacked. But that doesn't mean I wish them poorly in the future. I just thought they weren't the right guys for us, and that it hadn't worked out. Yeah, I wanted Carrick to stay on after Ole left too. I was hoping he would be interim to the end of the season. He should be able to add coaching staff this summer. Yep, I don't see why not. Definitely, it's been discussed. Someone was saying, they hope I'm wrong on Tchouaméni. I do too. I'm not saying I know anything on it. That's the thing. But I just don't trust those sources when Ornstein, Fabrizio, and others have stated otherwise. That's all I'm saying. I need to see better reports. Koundé, what a terrible cross, man. This Koundé guy, what is he doing? I'm gonna go for Hall now. I think that it's just Newcastle kind of hitting back on things. I don't have all the reasons why, honestly. I can only really speculate on that front. I really can't, be sure enough to give an answer. The Summerville links are true, but here, it's not fake. There's no doubt about that. The Summerville links are very real. But it says one of those paying serious attention to Summerville are Manchester United, the tricky winger ranking highly among multiple options being studied in case they recruit in that position, and it says it's lower priority. So my point, and then it says it's lower priority a little bit further down. So the Summerville link is very, very real. Don't get me wrong. And I tried to make that very clear. Senegal. Oh, oh! How is Sar missed from there? Oh my God. How have you missed from there? What are you doing on the stroke of halftime? Good Lord. How? How, man? Oh. All you have to do is keep it down and aim anywhere on the goal and you're scoring. How do you miss from there, man? That's crazy. Very good from Senegal. They've had the better chances in this game, to be fair. But as I was saying with regards to that Summerville link, it's fully a link. It's fully real. And I think if we go for a left winger, I would guess he's our top target now. Most likely target, at this point. But at the same time, like, I guess what I'm saying is that it's not necessarily that we're going for that position. You know what I mean? It's not even a sure thing. We've heard more noise about left back. It's just the Hall problem, essentially. Is there a lot of World Cup buzz in the U.S.? There is. And look, I want to be clear here. I barely leave my house because this is my job. And I'm not in a World Cup city, so I can't say that I've experienced the most excitement firsthand. But what I can say is there's a buzz in terms of when you talk to people, interact with people, all out there. That most of them are, people are very excited about it, and I can tell you that, like even you scroll through like the social media and such, it's notable. It's notable how much excitement there is and how much talk about it. I gotta say though, my favorite thing right now is like scrolling through Instagram and seeing all the reels of Europeans experiencing American stuff for the first time. And like, what makes me very happy is just how positive it is. I always tell people who haven't really been to the States, oops, let me fix my timer. I always tell people who haven't been to the States much or at all that, it's not what you think. Like, you get the impression from people online, from Reddit, from Twitter, from everything, from all the politics and the news and stuff, that it's like this violent hellscape place of mean people that hate everybody else in the world. And when you get here, you will experience the exact opposite of that. It is probably the friendliest country on earth for visitors, for tourists, for people coming over here to see stuff from all over the world. It is such a friendly place, and it's very unique in that respect. And it's also a really, really beautiful country. The U.S. is so big. There's so much of everything. Like, I've seen things about, where Algeria are in Oklahoma. Where are they? They're in some Kansas. They're in some little town anyway. And the town has like shown them so much love, and it's been this like beautiful experience essentially for everybody involved. But that's the US in a nutshell. That's what it's like when you interact with the people. It's such a small percentage of people that give people some perspective of what it is and isn't. And so no, it's been really cool in that respect. But yeah, it's stuff like people discovering like Waffle House. I've seen so many things about Waffle House. Talking about that you get, just all the little things that are just so silly. Like, you sit down and you get water for free and bread and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And refills on drinks and all the silly kind of stuff like that. It's cool to see it. And I think that people are having, the right experience here as well. That's what I think is happening. And, you see interviews and people are asked about, you know, the Iranian team and all of that, and with their welcome, and everybody one for one is always positive, is always saying, of course they are, and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll tell you what sets you Canadians back on a friendly is the French. The French-Canadian aspect of France is what sets you back on the friendly note, okay? But it's just the truth. I've seen only positives from everywhere and everybody, and it's cool. I love it. And I think it represents the US well, you know, better than we are not our governments. And I think that's true of most countries. You are not your governments, you know what I mean? And all of the noise goes away once you actually get there and interact with people. And so no, I think it's been pretty cool overall. And in that sense, I'm very, very happy about it. You don't like the French here? It's not. I'm not being mean to the French. I've been to French Canada, and it is not as nice as the rest of it. Now, I went up to Calgary and this side, and it was awesome. It was kind of the same as Denver, to be honest. It was really nice. So yeah, nothing personal. Just that specific part of French Canada feels like a different part of Canada and a different part of North America. It's very, very odd. Also, the roads were a disaster, and it was terrible. Whereas it was much better maintained in other parts of Canada that I went to. That was my personal experience with Canada. I loved Calgary. Did not like Quebec. Vancouver is cool. Vancouver is really pretty, beautiful. Yeah, generally people are good. Exactly. Totally true. Totally true. I am finding it hilarious how many problems the English team are running into in Kansas. Like tornado warnings, all this kind of stuff. I'm kind of like, I could have told you. Or Missouri or wherever, you know, I don't remember which side they're staying on, but I think it's pretty funny. The stuff that England are running into. Those tornado warnings and such are, by the way, like a weekly thing. They're very normal. Happens all the time. So it's nothing too dramatic. The storms and the shelter in place and stuff, it's very normal. They stole Kane's shorts. I saw that too. Texas was the best place you've been to. Texas is really cool. Texas is cool. France had 0.02 XG. That they didn't get shots because, yeah. How many states have I visited? Almost all of them. I've actually not been to. I've been up the entire East Coast. I've been through, and then the Midwest. I've definitely been through all of them. I've not been to Louisiana or Mississippi, which is strange. And I've not been to Washington or Oregon or Alaska, but otherwise that's it. I've been everywhere else, I believe. Hurricane. There you go. Aspen. Yeah, I've been to Rhode Island. Yep. Will be in Manchester in the fall. Tonali's open to joining Tana from Newcastle. What does it tell us? I think it's likely financial. Agreed. It's not even a step up. And you know why they can afford it? Well, they've been in Champions League this year. We don't want to pay the prices that are being asked for Tonali. How have you? I've done a ton of driving. I have driven from Colorado, Florida, back to Chicago, to New York, to even further up the Northeast, to Vegas, to California. I've driven like all the major places through the whole country. A lot of driving. I've done 5-6 day driving trips when I was younger. So yeah, that's the main reason why I've seen most of them. I watched the Scottish go to Fenway Park yesterday for a Red Sox game. They seemed to have an amazing time. That looked like a lot of fun. Yeah, well, I grew up in Chicago, so all around that area. I'm not really much a fan these days of any other sports teams. I don't really just have the time for it. So it's anything besides this is more casual. I've met the Glazer family way back in the day. At events, because when I lived there, I went to there was a restaurant owned by one of the Buccaneers players. And then there was some events, and then there was the parade, because I lived there when they won the title, when they won the Super Bowl. But Malcolm was still alive. So I don't know. I don't remember if I was the kids or if it was just Malcolm and his wife. Might have been Joel. I feel like Joel was very involved for some reason. It was a long time ago. I was a kid. They were very involved in the area over there, surprisingly, compared to the Manchester, obviously. Just one of those not nice wrinkles. Chill, yeah. Favorite Glazer? No. No. How did you become tier 0 and get such good sources? I'm definitely don't consider that myself.
How did you become a United fan?
It's mostly just yapping, and then the community and random people with sources that get in touch, and then it takes on a life of its own, and then you get in contact with people at the club because of that, and then it goes kind of crazy. What happens after that? How did I become a United fan? I've said many times before, but my dad is South African. So through family and history, a lot of English in there. And he was an English fan. He's a Spurs fan, actually. I had a soft spot for them, which is why Pochettino and all that. But I watched England in the World Cup a lot. The World Cup was mostly what I could get growing up. And then I fell in love with a lot of the certain specific English players that were mostly United. And that's how I picked. I picked via the national team, essentially. So kind of backwards to how most people do it. But that's how I ended up. It's just reality, man. It's just reality. David Beckham was absolutely one of them, 100%. He was notable. He was likable. You know what I mean? He had he was like the first celebrity, which was obviously ended up being a conflict for United, but that Beckham was a huge part of it. Absolutely huge part of it. And I'll always love David Beckham for being one of the key reasons I became a United fan. Absolutely. No denying it. He picked up United after seeing Georgie Best for Northern Ireland. You were a Chelsea fan before. Interesting. Yeah, he was. Let me see if I can get my clock right here. There we go. Sorry, I'm like a few seconds behind, but got my clock set up right now. There we go. All right, we're good. All right, second half. Became a United fan after watching Rooney. Rooney and Beckham are my two favorite players. You know, how much do you think United will show? I think they'll be pretty careful about it. I think they'll show some of the data stuff in terms of like what's really behind the scenes. I think they'll show some of the data stuff, like discussions about you know, how the data team work and all that kind of stuff. But I doubt they'll, you know, and they'll obviously talk about some of the players we looked at specifically, but probably not a ton. Get coffee, says K104. I know. I gotta watch. I have watched every game so far, even when I wasn't expecting to. Like last night's New Zealand versus Iran was really good. Wasn't expecting that. But Due shot miss, decent attempt. But I don't think I can do Jordan versus. I don't think I can do that at 10 p.m. tonight. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, a lot of fan events, things like that too. When does filming start? I imagine soon, you know. What's that? Which one's after this? It's Iraq versus Norway, and then it's Algeria versus Argentina. That's a good one. Why can't we retain Rashford on a new contract to negotiate lower wages? It's not just wages why they don't want him here, though. Like, that's why I'd be surprised if he stayed. It's just the facts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more than just the wages. There's a reasons he left and that he's gone. That I just don't see why that would suddenly go away either way. You know, from their perspective, I'm yeah. I don't know what they're gonna say, but they for sure don't want him to stay. It's just that he could take lower wages to be at Barcelona potentially. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's potentially true. It's more than wages, man. It's bigger than that. Nice. Offside. Oh, this match is a little boring. I need it to kick up a little bit and get a bit more exciting. Will we get rid of Onana? He still has plenty of interest in Turkey, so hopefully, yes. Yeah, I do think there's a big chance there's already cameras and such, for sure. I agree with it. Rabiot. Oh, man. Francis. You're good at predicting the future. So what numbers get the Fernandes and Scott deals done? I think that 65 plus 5 from Fernandes and 55 plus 10 for Scott. That's what I would say, or is what's going to get those two deals done. Bring Turkey for the final pass. I mean, I don't want to give Turkey credit, but yeah, true. Ah, man, I still can't believe the miss from Senegal. Oh, shoot. Feels a lot for Scott? I don't think so. I mean, again, but I think that they're more closely rated than most people do. I think that Mateus has gotten all of the hype recently, but Alex Scott is very, very good. Oof. Yeah, I could see Senegal winning this too. They're strong on the break. Is Mbappe a problem? Prefer not to speak. He's had terrible first touch today, though. Terrible, terrible first touch today. Have we got the cash? Yeah, we could spend the money. The money's not a problem now. It's still just being careful, I suppose. But I hope we move now. I'm not an impatient guy. I do hope we move. Because for me, it's not just about like end of summer getting deals done. It's about having players in preseason and being able to get the time into practice to settle in. Those first, the first couple months, you can lose the points that get you out of the race and set you back a lot. Turnover, Olise. Oh, he's in. Oh, good save, keeper. So for me, it's like the window is still early, but I think we have a month, and I think we need 2 more in a month from now. I didn't hear anything else about the Amram saving. I haven't actually asked anybody. It'll sort out in the wash on the finances. I don't think anyone's going to give me an answer. Keepers tournament. Couple disasters and some really good performances, huh? You think Mbappe will cost them by not working hard defensively? I think you have to carry a lot with Mbappe, man. And like in a game like this, France are trying to have more of the ball rather than sitting deep like they kind of used to under Deschamps, where you can just hit on the break. If you're trying to be a bit more proactive, be on the ball, I would think you want your forwards pressing more. Oof. Like they're trying to press here, and Mbappe's just standing around, and then they play right through the press. Oh, Jackson. Oh, good defending from the center backs though. End of the summer, who have we signed? Ederson, Mateus, Scott, Paul, Ramos. Maybe that's it. Oh, and a keeper. Sam Johnstone. I think we'll be missing out on the center back. Not definitely, but potentially. That's a big question mark for me. That's the biggest question mark for me, where I don't feel optimistic yet that we will get it done. Jackson almost in again, man. A wild card for me is Kamavinga instead of Scott. The striker, man, that could be almost anything. And then there's, at center back, there's definitely a few options. Lacroix would be a wild card there if we end up going for somebody. Oh, terrible touch. Who was that? Mbappe, he's going to score. No, good save again. Wow. Oof. Terrible turnover there, but that was a great save. Mendy's done really well, closing the angle down, making it difficult. Still, you got to think Mbappe should be scoring there. Corner. That's tough. The defender's definitely putting Mbappe off there. Mendy does really well, but so does Diarra, you know. Diarra makes himself a nuisance on Mbappe there, where he doesn't really get the ability to wind up on that shot and get lift on it. Really well done by, I think, both Diarra and Mendy there. Like to see Heaven get... Yeah, I think if Heaven plays more too, I'll feel a lot better about the center back situation. It's him not playing that's making my head hurt and making me very, very nervous. Romero. I think it's interesting. I think that, I'm certain we've had talks with representatives and people around some center backs. Including Romero and including Lacroix. So I could see something happening later. Ooh, good run from Mbappe here. Oh, what a tackle. What a tackle. That looked like a good tackle to me. That looked clean. He gets the ball, I think. Let's see with VAR. On live, it looks to me like he gets just enough of the ball to not be a pen. Let's see it. He gets ball. He gets ball. He gets ball. Good tackle. Good process. He clips the ball with his toe. Well, it's close. It looks to me like he clips the ball with his toe. Well, no, you know what? That might be a pen. The first touch looks good. The second one looks like a pen to me. But I think because Mbappe goes down, he's not calling it. But he doesn't get the ball, I think. Clattenburg doesn't think there's enough contact. But I think they're going to the screen. No? I think it's a pen, isn't it? I'm going back and forth here. I want to see another replay. I want to see if Mbappe is hanging his legs. Because it doesn't look like the player got the ball. No pen? Are they thinking Mbappe leaves his legs hanging to bait the contact? I'm confused. I'm leaning towards pen now after the second replay, but Oh, he's going to the screen now. Okay. Confusing from the comms here. It looks like I think they're going to give it a pen then. I think they're going to give it a pen. Yeah, it's a pen for me. It's a pen for me. Mbappe pops the ball up in the air, and then he takes his... Well, does he touch him? Does he touch him? He does. He catches Mbappe's left leg. He barely touched him, to be fair, but I think he touches him enough. I think it's a pen, though. I think it's a pen, yeah. It's going to be a pen. No! No penalty. No penalty. No penalty. I thought that his thigh got Mbappe's leg as well. No pen. The contact is really minimal. But I think it's a pen. Because he catches him, his leg trying to go over him. It's tight, but it's a pen for me. Because his left leg, when he goes up, the slide comes in and catches his left leg as he's going through, and that forces the stumble. It's minimal contact, but I think it's a pen because he catches the foot. He catches his foot in the air, and I think it forces him to fall. I think it's a pen. I think it's a pen. I didn't initially, but I think it's a pen the more I watched it. Yeah, if the defender doesn't catch his ankle, he's not falling, right? So I think it's a pen because of that. I'll say this, though. I don't think it's so blatant. I don't think it's so blatant that I'm going to be absurd. Like, I don't think it's, like, crazy that there's no pen. But I do think it should be a penalty. I think that the ref is trying to not give an easy penalty here. So I'm okay with it not being called, but I think it's a pen, personally. That's my thoughts. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd be mad if it was us. If it was United and we didn't get that call, I'd be mad. But I also think it's okay. Yeah, like, it's that kind of thing. Like, I respect it, even though I think it's a penalty for me. Thomas Party loses appeal against visa refusal by Canada. Well done, Canada, once again, by the way. Oh, almost again. Another poor touch from Mbappe, though. Wow, great stuff from Elise. Great run from Mbappe, but man, Mbappe's having a bad game, man. Oh. Star. Like, well defended. This French team is a bit weird, but won a lot of titles with that talent up front. 2A. Step overs. Ah, extra touch before the shot is a mistake for me. Nice from Doué. Ah, messed it up. Elise again. Man, Elise is good. Mbappe, there it is. He's got it this time. Goal. 1-0 from Elise. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant pass. And Mbappe finally gets his goal. Finally got it. Great pass, great run. They finally broke him down. Elise is incredible, man. Man, it's another just unreal pass from Elise, dude. How many of those has he hit already this game? 5, 6 of them? Mbappe finally gets his foot around it. Elise was one of our first top targets. Man, if we'd signed him. Too bad. If Senegal can hit back, they've had chances. Should have been up 1 in the first half. They're starting to, if they've had, it's offside. Oh my God. Offside. What a hit. Offside, though, for Nicholas Jackson. What a shot from Jackson. People telling me that guy can't shoot. People telling me that guy can't shoot. That is a strike and a half, man. Holy shit. Oh, he's way offside, though. That's the problem, isn't it? Way offside, but amazing hit. Great goal when he's offside. I know. Classic. With the water break? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab something. We got the LeBron of soccer. There you go. Sorry, I was muted. There you go. Pulisic. Yeah. I know no sound. That's fine. Anyway, there we go. That's what do you mean the 3 worst ones? What are you talking about? I could have got Ronaldo. That's terrible. USA is good. USA is good. This is one of the main ones we wanted. This is the one. This one and Ronaldo was the one that my son wanted. So there you go. Damn. Oh, you still have one more. I will open tomorrow. We got the upcoming World Cup best player, superior player. I don't think we'll spend 60 plus 10 on Holland. I don't think it's going to take that. I think it'll take a total of about 60 total. I'm just going to mute when I'm actively chewing this beef jerky, okay? By the way. But no, I think it'll be more like 60 total. Nice work from Due. I really like True Fair, but Biltong, yeah. I've had tons of it. And there used to be a guy here who would come to our local market and sell it. And I haven't seen him in a while, which is kind of a bummer because he had good, authentic Biltong. But I haven't seen him in a bit. And we used to stock up on it when he would come out. Is there any surprise signing? Well, if I knew or told you, then it wouldn't be a surprise, huh? Ooh, Senegal. Oh, damn, they're fast. France are fast at getting back there. Very fast. Could he become an option? I think he could. Ultimately. Time goes on. What's biltong? It's a specific type of sort of jerky from popularized and made, dried out in South Africa, generally. What flavor? It's just normal. I try not to do like flavor. Just normal. When I get it from the biltong that I get from him, though, I often get this chili. Like it's a chili. Very spicy. Very nice. Lua is the surprise. Don't know about that. I don't think we'll sign Lewandowski. Lewandowski? I don't think we will. Hope our Scott interest becomes serious. Yeah, me too. I really do like him quite a lot. James Ducker says United interested in Summerville, but move for a winger or versatile forward such as target Morgan Rogers, likely to hinge on Rashford developments and getting off wage bill. As we're ongoing in talks for Mateus Fernandes, that most of our budget is set for the midfield. Other targets will need to be based on sales. As there's plenty of clubs still interested in Rashford, etc. Signed Shaw for 30 12 years ago. Double that for Hall is mildly fair. Yeah, I think so. Is Adam Wharton on the list? Yeah, but again, just from a profile standpoint, it's accurately been reported that not necessarily a fit at the price that we're talking there. I still wouldn't totally rule it out later, but clearly it doesn't seem to be like the main guy. Oh! Oh my god. There's the Jackson miss. There's the Jackson miss. Might be offside still. Barcola for Dembele. Yeah, nothing else new in that piece. Tucker, really. Yeah, that's a tough finish. I mean, first time off of the cross when it's not quite at foot level. I do feel strongly that he wants to go. I think they're just trying to sell him. Preserving value a bit, but I think it's really, really unlikely that he stays. There's just too many reasons. Oh, what a ball in. Barcola. And he scored 2-0. What a ball by Rabiot, man. What a goal as well. Wow. Crazy. Great goal. First time I've seen Barcola not miss. Me too, yeah. Now everybody's going to want to buy him. That's a classic overreaction there. One World Cup goal does not make it a player worth signing. Barcola for PSG misses absolutely tons of chances. Good finish here for France, but it doesn't change that. It would be Barcola. Beef jerky coming on. I thought Senegal had been better than you would have expected this game. Definitely quite unlucky at the end of the day. Should have been up 1 in the first half. They could have done better in this game. Obviously, now with the 2 goals, it doesn't look like it was close, but it was close. I could have seen this game going the other way 30 minutes ago for sure. They did quite well. Considering, I mean, you look half their players, they're playing in Saudi and such. It's quite impressive. What makes me think Ramos? Nothing. We don't have like public links to like literally any forwards, any strikers. But I just have this idea that since he's been offered, that there's a chance. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, exactly. If Sarr finished that first chance, they could have won easily. And again, Mbappe had a couple very poor touches early on too. But definitely the best chance of the game was Sarr's miss. Yeah, they're running through Koulibaly so easy, man. He does not have the legs anymore, does he? Both goals come through the same concept, the same run, the same goal, the same pattern. Easy to stop, honestly. Good turn. No. Kunde, corner. See if Senegal can get something out of this still. Couple headers. Nope. Oh. Eight minutes. Come on. Get something out of it. Don't think they will. Just can't get through this France. Now that France are settled in, they get even harder to beat. Turkey. Running again in Koulibaly. Wait, terrible pass from him. Beef jerky, not at it. Okay. So poor here. Final third quality. Oh. Not unexpected that France are going to get through this one pretty easy, but it was close for a bit. Could have been a different game. But that's kind of how the French have won a lot of tournaments and gotten through the World Cup a lot. A lot of games that maybe could have gone the other way, but in the end, they just wear teams down and get that goal and get through. Had a lot of tight wins on the way to their World Cup win and the last World Cup final. A tight loss in that one. So, not unexpected. Not unexpected at all for France for a game like this, honestly. Pretty par for the course. Still have, like, on talent and on paper, an unbelievable team. It's absolutely ridiculous. Gareth Bale watching. See ya, silly. Have a good one, man. I'll be done in like 5 minutes and get ready and watch the next game. Can't say you're excited by the Iraq-Norway game. I mean, I think there's enough players for... I'm curious to see Haaland mostly, you know. What can he do with Norway at the World Cup? Can he pull out something crazy? Sometimes, you know, big players, big stage. They make something crazy happen. Where you get to see them, you know, a little outside of their comfort zone on being on the best team in the, you know, one of the best teams in the world and all that. They got to be more individualistic. You get to see sometimes a different side to them, which I think is interesting. Okay, a little bit of run here. Come on. And Jai's on. Come on. Ooh. Oh! Oh! What a goal! Holy! Oh my God, what a hit! What a hit, son. 3.5 minutes left. What a goal! Bye. Oh my, what a hit. Just power through the keeper there. Good me. Mike Manya. Oh, it takes a deflection off Chouameni. It's you putting it on the keeper, but it takes a deflection off of Chouameni's cleats, his studs. It doesn't look like it on first glance, but that's what... It's not a keeper. It's a really nasty deflection. It comes off of Chouameni's cleats. That's why it changes direction mid-flight, and then that's that. Oh, hold on. France are attacking again. Mbappe. Oh, he just puts it right back. Well. And there's Mbappe, man. Okay, never mind. Come back off. Mbappe with a golazo. What the hell, man? What a hit. Well, We got some good entertainment in the last 10 minutes of this game. Yeah, great second half. A lot of goals. A lot of fun. Good stuff. You watch Premier League and then you watch World Cup and see the players have so much time on the ball. Totally true. It is a different pace of the game. You never get that space in the Premier League. But still, great goal. And that settles the game. Wow. Crazy, man. France could just get through again. They can score like this, man, out of nothing with these forwards, with Olise, with Mbappe and stuff. Like, they got to be still up there in the favorites. I had them reaching a final against Portugal, personally. So I'm not surprised right now. A shot to the nose, I think. Or mouth. Yeah, I had France versus Portugal. I think those are the two teams I expect to make it. Ooh, I want, besides the US, I would say Portugal, England, in that order. Yeah, the front line's crazy. Olise, Mbappe, Dembele, Doué. I mean, come on, man. What the hell? It's hard to beat that, especially in a World Cup, international football. Sometimes it's just score the goals, you know? Who's going to take their chances? Who's going to put it in the net? Sometimes that's all that matters. Huh? Not quite over. Oh, crazy touch. Oh my God. That's in. No. It wasn't over. That looked over the line. Oh, wow. What a save. Honestly, what a save. All right. That's it. What a save, actually, turns out. All right, my friends. 3-1 is the finish. Game over. Full time. 3-1. Enjoyable watch, enjoyable video. Thank you all for hanging out today. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back before the England game to talk news and then watch England versus Croatia in their opener. Okay? Thank you all for hanging out today. I appreciate you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Smash a like on the video on your way out. And have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.